Shalom Israel, and welcome to another edition of Yeshua's 20-minute breakdown, where I'll attempt to break down the scriptures within 20 minutes. But first and foremost, as always, you know how we do. We give all praises to Yahweh, Bahar Shem, Yahweh Shai, Wahar Rakah Kadash, and the Akams and the elders in the highways and byways pushing this word in truth and sincerity, all praises. And the elder women teaching the younger women, all praises to you too. And the camps and the solar brothers going out there, making videos, edifying the body, pushing the truth according to scriptures. All praises. Now, what I want to touch on today is a title called Love Your Natural Hair. Love your natural hair that God gave you. And the reason why I'm doing this lesson is because there is a brother, a nice sincere brother, sent me a clip. And I'm going to play this clip in the video at the end of this video. It's going to be a short lesson because it's totally tailored actually for the clip that the brother sent me. And that's what inspired me to do this video. Because I have noticed, you know, on your daily travels when you're out there, a lot of our women always have European hair on their head. They either straighten their own natural hair or always, what I notice, they're wearing a weave or a wig. They never got their natural hair. Now, you have to remember, our hair is not like any other nation's hair, either Caucasians and so forth. Our hair defies gravity. And that's a wonderful thing, because other people's hair, other nations' hair, that it grows and then it drops. Our hair grows and it stays upright. It defies gravity, our hair. And you'll find the Most High God, He has the same hair that He has given His people. Now, I'm going to open up this lesson with Daniel chapter 7 and verse 9. And, you know, go through a few scriptures, you know, and then at the end, I want to play a clip, this clip that the brother sent me, which I liked this clip, and that's what the lesson really is based on. So, I don't want to go into this long talking because the lesson's not going to be a long lesson anyway. So, it's just a quick, short, hard-hitting lesson, like, you know, just for us as a people to love what God gave us, our natural hair, our natural, beautiful, kinky hair, or as the Bible calls it, our natural, pure woolen hair. Not many people on the planet have hair like ours. So we shouldn't be destroying our hair and trying to live up to what the other nations, especially the Caucasians, who has pushed for decades, that this standard of beauty is what they say the standard of beauty is, because that's what everything goes by. Whatever the Caucasians say is the standard of beauty, that's what's portrayed. So we gotta love our natural God-given hair. Yeah? Now, with that said, I want to start my timer, because I ain't no long speech I'm going into. I want to get this ball rolling. In, out, boom, done, to make the point. So with that said, I'm going to start my timer. In 3, 2, 1, boom, we're away, let's go. And I'm going to start with Daniel chapter 7 and verse 9. The book of Daniel, chapter 7 and verse 9, and it reads, I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire. Now, the point I want out of that verse is, and the hair of his head like the pure wool, showing you that the Most High Power himself, his hair is likened to pure wool, and it's the same kind of woolly hair he has that he have given his people, the same kind of woolly hair which you will find on so-called black people, as they label us today. So the Most High God has given us the very texture and type of hair he has. And what we go and do is ruin it by straightening it and trying to take the curls out of it or hide it with a wig or, weave and all these things. We try to emulate our oppressor and their hair and what they call a standard of beauty, which is straight hair. Well, no, according to the Most High God, has this natural, pure woolen hair. And watch this. The book of Genesis, chapter 1, verse 26, and it reads, "And God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth." Verse 27. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. Now, the reason why I just went there, just show you that we are made in the Most High God's image. So how we look is how he looked. He is the blueprint, and we are modeled after how he looked. Yeah. So you don't read anywhere in the scriptures where the Most High God never liked his hair and he ended up straightening it to make it look like a nation that he later created. When you jump to Genesis 25, you see where Esau comes into play. You never see him now trying to emulate Esau's hair, but yet we do. Now, watch this. I'm going to jump to the book of Revelation, chapter 1, verses 13 into 14. Listen to this. Revelation, chapter 1, verse 13, and it reads, "And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, one like unto the Son of Man," which is Christ. Yeah? Now, let me just read. I just want to get that bit in. "One like unto the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the foot, and girt about the paps with a golden girdle." Verse 14, "His head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire." Now, I just wanted to go there to show you Yahushua, Christ, or Jesus, as the Christian church knows him as. Well, the image that Christian portray as Jesus is obviously not the Christ of the Bible, because the Christ of the Bible has the same type of hair as the Ancient of Days, which is the Most High God himself, his Father. He has hair like wool. It says it clearly there. So you see, in Daniel chapter 7 shows the Most High God has hair like the pure wool. In Revelation chapter 1, showing you that Christ, Yahushua, has woolly hair also. Now, God made you perfect, including your hair. But what do? We nowadays shave off our beard and we shave off our heads, the hair off our heads. So we're totally bald, clean shaven and totally bald. Now, if you notice now, even there's adverts out now, a Gillette, a best a man can get, always encouraging men to be clean shaven or to try to effeminize men, or to make them look more like a boy than a man. Now, when we were taken into slavery and when we got off them ships and got into what they call the quarantine area, the first thing they did, especially to the men, was to shave off the men's hair and beard. Now, you may ask yourself why, but see, they knew something at that time we didn't know. Now listen to this. Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 27, and it reads, "Ye shall not round the corners of your head, neither shalt thou mar the corners of thy beard." Now the Bible's clearly showing you that you shouldn't make your head bald. Now There's a difference if you're going bald naturally. Just like me, I'm going bald naturally. And all I do, I cut the sides as best as I can, low, low, low. And like if you feel it, you can feel on my head there's still a bit of hair. You can't see it, so it may look like I'm totally bald, but I haven't taken a razor to my head and totally bald it. What I've used is them clippers, and I've just gone over it to bring it down to like an even level. Yeah. Now it says, neither shall thou mar the corners of thy beard. Now, when you look at the word mar, the word mar means to destroy, showing a man should have a beard according to the Most High God. But they knew that if we are clean shaven, we are breaking God's laws. So they push this clean shaven and shaving your head like a Floyd Mayweather and those kind of guys, Michael Jordan and all them. Like, that is something that the law is against. But this is something that we do because we don't know, because we've never been taught in Christianity those laws, because Christians don't keep any laws. They just say all you got to do is believe and you're good. It's not according to the Bible. And just listen to this. Yeah, I went into Google, into AI, and I searched the shaving of enslaved individuals' hair. And this is what it came up. This is what AI came up saying. Right, listen to this. The shaving of enslaved individuals' hair was a deeply dehumanizing practice utilized to strip away personal identity, sever cultural ties, and enforce control across various historical eras, including the transatlantic slave trade. Captors routinely shave the heads of the captive people to enforce submission, prevent escape, and manage hygiene in crowded, diseased holes. Now, AI Overview also said this: hygiene and disease control, managing the spread of lice and preventing disease in the cramped quarters of the slave ships. So they're trying to say they shave the heads of the men and whoever else they may claim to say is for disease control. But that's not quite true, because if that was the case, why did they only shave the men's head and hair off their head and off their beard? Why didn't they shave the women's hair off their head? So if that was the case for them claiming the shaving was for disease control, because you've got to remember, the women traveled in the same cramped and disgusting slave ship, just like the men did, at the same period of time, over how much months, crossing the Atlantic Ocean. So they were in the same cramped and disgusting and filthy condition as the men. But why did the captors, when they get to the quarantine area, only shave the men's head and the hair off their head and their beard? Why did not they shave the women's hair off their head, if that is the claim for disease control? So you see, it's deeper than that. Now, when you read Leviticus chapter 19, verse 27, or Leviticus 21 and 5, you would see that's why they did it to the men, shaving off the hair off their head and the hair off their beard, because they knew exactly what they were doing. Our captors knew exactly what they were doing and why they did what they did to the men. Also, I just want to touch on this quickly, because after that, what they did as well, after they got a hot iron and they branded us. Yeah, they brand us with a hot iron with their mark. Whoever you belong to, they branded you. Now, let me read this. Let me show you something. I'm going to jump to the book of Leviticus, chapter 19 and verse 28 now. Listen to this. Leviticus chapter 19, verse 28, and it reads, Ye shall not make any cuttings in your flesh for the dead, nor print any marks upon you. I am the Lord. Showing you that we shouldn't be printing anything on us. Like back in the day, they branded us. But today, we brand ourselves. And what do we call it? Tattoos. So you see, the Bible's clearly showing us we should not be putting any marks on our flesh, i.e. tattoos today. We do that willfully ourselves and thinking it looks beautiful. The Most High God said we should not be doing that. So if you've already got tattoos, there's not much you can do about it. But what you can do is repent, meaning don't get any more. Because obviously at this point, at the point prior to now, you didn't know, but now you know. So don't get any more. That's how you eradicate that problem. Whatever you've got, you can't do nothing about it. But what you can do is not get any more tattoos. Now, I've heard some people say when you bring up this law, it's a simple law. A man must have a beard and, and not be, should we say, clean shaven. And some people turn around and say, well, you trying to tell me just because I've shaved, I'm not going to go to heaven? That is not the point. What's going to stop you from making the kingdom is disobedience. That is the point. So if the Lord, the Most High God says, don't do something and you do what he tells you not to do, that's being disobedient. If the Most High says to do something and you don't do it, that's disobedience. So this is what we have to get into our heads. It's disobedience that's going to make you miss out on the kingdom. That is the issue. Now watch this. This is when King David reigned and the king of Ammon died, who David and the king of Ammon seemed to be friendly. Now his son, which is Hanan, his son reigned in the king of Ammon's stead. Now David sent men to show kindness to Hanan, who took over from the king of Ammon. And this is what happened. I'm going to pick it up. I want to get straight to the point. I want to pick it up at verse 4. This is 2 Samuel chapter 10 and verse 4, and it reads, "Wherefore Hanan took David's servants and shaved off the one half of their beard and cut off their garments in the middle, even to their buttocks, and sent them away." Verse 5, "When they told it unto David, he sent to meet them, because the men were greatly ashamed." Why were they greatly ashamed? Because half of their beard was cut off. But let's see what happened. The men were greatly ashamed. And the king said, "Tarry at Jericho until your beards be grown, and then return." Now, showing you there, if it was okay for them to be clean shaven, then let's say, why didn't the king just say, you know what, shave off the other half and it's all good? No, they were told to tarry at Jericho. When your beards are grown, then you return back to the congregation. Showing you there as well, they knew that law of Leviticus chapter 19 verse 27, and they kept it to the fullest. So I think I've made my point. So let's try to keep our natural God-given hair, our hair that defies gravity, our beautiful hair, the same hair that the Most High God has, the same hair that Christ has. Now, with that said, I want to play the clip. I haven't timed out, so I don't have to do what I normally do, but now here's the clip. I'm going to put up the fair usage disclaimer because it isn't my clip, but it's a clip that the brother sent me, and I liked it, so I'm going to share it. So here's the clip.
These original kings were buried in the mud and nuked from history so these psychopathic parasites could build their fake world. Those Queen's Guards parading are a global crime scene. That towering headdress isn't a military hat. They stole that style directly from the Moors of the Kazan Khanate in Great Tartary. In advanced Asiatic civilization, they tried to nuke from your memory. Those bearskin hats are nothing but a ritualistic imitation of the thick natural hair, those massive afros grown by the original Hibachi nobility, the true Obashis, who sat on the thrones of Europe while these people lived in caves. See, the ancestors of these people you call Europeans today were the white Obashis, former slaves of the Habashi, who couldn't grow that crown of power because their biosynthesis failed them. They were pale melanin, mutants who had to glue animal fur and lamb's wool to their skulls just to mimic the lords they deposed. That's our shit they're cosplaying. When Bob Marley sang about crazy bald heads, he was exposing the castrato class. He was talking about the Mameluke and Janissary slave soldiers who were ritually castrated, losing their testosterone and their hair, becoming the gilded eunuchs who build the penitentiaries and schools to lobotomize your mind. Today, these bloodlines, the Orsini, Medici, and Rothschilds, align with the satanic banking cartels that funded Epstein's List and global human trafficking. It's all part of a Gollywog ritual, a theater of mockery, where they dress in the habits of the people they slaughtered, being you, to ensure the original people stay mentally dead. They snatched your headdress from the Kazan to fake the natural glory of the ancient Moors and Hebrews. The high-status nobility of the millennial reign knew the truth. Growing your hair out was the divine covenant of a peak human being. Moorish empresses and royalty grew their natural hair, those massive, beautiful afros, as a sign of supreme status and genetic frequency. They've tried to erase every memory of these beautiful Moors through iconoclasm and whitewashed history because their own biosynthesis failed them. You wonder why the barber shop is the biggest institution in our community? Because the system socialized you to pay money to trash your own godhood. Hair is an extension of your central nervous system, a literal antenna for your soul, and a divine covenant. The corporate system and the prisons force you to shave to disconnect you from your awareness and your royalty. While you're in that chair throwing your power away, the Ashkenazi is in the Shiva growing his locks out, rocking the Horus lock, because he knows the blessing you were tricked into hating. That Horus lock, that's ours. They repurpose your palaces after the historical resets. They wear your crowns and mimic your hair because they know that crown was the mark of a god-man on earth.
And there you have it. What more can I say? But this is Yasharallah, and with that, we out.